Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, or good morning, wherever you are. I hope everybody is very well and enjoying the very present moment, what you are experiencing right now. Thank you for visiting this page. I'm Zsuzsanna Hörcsög. I'm a psychic and a medium, and an intuitive coach, a healer, a therapist. And I just thought I'm just going to share something brief with you here. Now, today is the 21st of December 2020, and building up to this date, I have been really excited because I've been talking about, and well, it's just not just because of this date, but just knowing how fortunate we are that we are here on this earth plane to experience what we need to experience right now, and how amazing that our soul has chosen this experience, this timeline, and this time to be here to experience everything. So, regardless of what is happening out there in the whole entire world, but then it's just amazing. So today is the 21st of December. 2020, and I don't know whether you have seen any of those things happening up in the sky. Well, but what really made me think of was that was I did not have to think. I sat down and meditated. And what came to me, meditated with a gorgeous group of people for 13 minutes. So first of all, it is really making me now look into the meaning of number 13. And why is it that we've got in our consciousness, in our understanding, that fear of number 13, whether it is appearing in religious text or teachings or anywhere. So number 13. So that was one thing. Now the other thing is, while I was meditating, when you've got only 13 minutes, my mind was kicking in that, where is my meditation where is it going to go? But then yes, you drop your ego, and then you go somewhere else. And what I was actually given, somehow on the same theme, what I have been talking about, or what information I've been given in the last 2-3 years. Now one of them is how, yes, we just need to know, we just need to accept, even if I don't have any evidence, but we just have to accept that we are not alone. And oh my goodness, we are just so not alone. Because what I was shown once again, that how ourselves, humans, humanity, it's just so important that the people of the same frequencies, they gather together, and people start working together, not just being by themselves, because it doesn't work when you are doing it by yourself, but then belonging to a group, or belonging to each other, being together of the same frequency, because that creates that emphasizes, that raises the frequency itself. And while it is happening, what I was shown, that on the various places on the earth, so it's not just one group on one place and then doing something with the energy, the higher energy, but then various places, different places. So people of the same frequencies, they need to gather together, and they need to work together, and there needs to be created, and that needs to be lived into. And while you are in that circle of high frequency, you are working. You are not working. You are just adding your own frequency. You are adding your own energy to that kind of consciousness, or that kind of frequency there. And why it is important is because when you are doing it, when we are in a circle like this, people of the same frequencies, we generate the frequency amongst ourselves, and while we are doing it, that brings the information down from above. This is what I was shown, and that is the white light. That is a very, 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 very high frequency. So yes, we can say that we are creating the frequency and then the healing and the energy amongst ourselves on this plane like that. But while we are doing it, there is a point where it is how the frequency is increasing, that is able to link itself together to the point where the guidance, where the teaching, where the help, whatever we want to label, is coming down. And then it is coming down in the form of white frequency, the white light, how I saw. So we need this in order to raise the frequency so that we are able to access that. And that's not because we want to access it, but then we are being watched, we are being helped, we are being weighted, so that humanity, people, we gather together, raise the frequency, and then when it is raised to a certain point of level, certain level, then it is lighting up. Just like when you light up or light a candle, and then it just attaches itself to that source of energy, source of information, source of frequency, and then this was not shown that it's coming down and doing something here, but it remains there, and then we are just attaching ourselves like a tent, to that point, and then from that point, the information, the help, the healing, whatever we want to label, is coming down to the circle, and then it's being given out or spread from that point, and then it's not just one place it is happening or one area of the earth, but then it's different places. So wherever we are, our job is to raise our frequency and then meet the people who have the same frequencies, and then start working together. And then it is definitely nothing to do with the ego, because you cannot be in a circle like this if you are working with your ego. So that was one thing. The other thing, what I was actually shown quite a lot of things. And then, of course, I can't start writing from that moment, but I really hope that everything will come back to me. But then one more thing, it was quite relevant, was the generation, how they've been talking about the new generation coming down, or the generation, the young generation, the very little ones, who are already here, those frequencies, and then those ones who are coming, who are about to come the next year, and then the following 1, 2, 3 years, even 4 years, that their frequencies will be different. And the humanity was divided into 3 groups. One of them was the 40, 50, 60 plus year old people, and then there was the other one, the 20s, 30s, and then they were the younger ones. And what I was shown was that the current generation, the 40 plus, okay, so that's quite a majority of the society, they as they are living their lives, and then there are quite a lot of them with awareness, and quite a lot of them with no awareness of their higher realities. And then what was shown was that yes, it has to be like that, and then what this generation, this group of people, 40 plus, can do, working on themselves, and then creating the frequencies for the other generations. But interestingly, not for the 20 and the 30-year-old ones, but then the very little ones who have just arrived, or who are just about to come down to the earth plane. Okay, now what was shown about the 20? Oh, I'm getting the sparkles here. While I'm saying this, now what was shown about the 20 and the 30-year-old generation, that there is that's a mass of ego. So how they were brought into this earth, and how they grew up, and then how they are experiencing their lives. Yes, we've got light workers amongst the 20 and 30-year-old people, but then there is that dense energy of ego, so they have to work through that, because the energy felt like, or feels like, when there is a king, and then he has 3 sons, and the one with a more dense heart is not getting the prize, and then very stubborn, and that's energy. Okay, so the 20 and 30-year-old ones, they have to work how they are experiencing themselves, and they have to go back to source. And they need to ask for help to find a way back to their own source, so that they shift that energy, because when they grow into their 30s, 40s plus, then they will have to have a different understanding. But if they are continuing living their lives how they are right now, that is not going to that is going to stay as a dance on a dance level. Okay, so that was about the 20 and the 30-year-old ones. Now, what was really interesting for me to see and to feel the energy of the very little ones. There was various conversations about that, so we can go back. But then right now, the very little ones who have arrived 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago, they are here on this earth plane, and then those ones who are about to come, okay, 1, 2, 3 years. So that group, okay, so it's a 7-10 year range of youngsters, and then their vibrations are something. And then what was shown that the older ones, the 40 plus year generation, their job is to link themselves back to that new generation, and skipping through the 20-30 ones, okay, because that's the difference of the dance conversation. So the older ones, they have to go back to the younger ones, and then it's not just in a way that they are teaching and showing things to the younger ones, but then it's vice versa, because the 40 plus generation needs to experience here, the younger ones, the little ones, they are bringing that rapid energy, that's much faster frequency, much higher and faster frequency, and then they need to give, and they are able to give that frequency to the oldest group, 40 plus, okay, to experience what they need to experience while they are still on this earth plane. Okay, it's not that they have it within themselves. It's not that they can ask down from above or from below or from sideways. Okay, so we don't have the different angles or the different levels like this. But then they have to go back to, it's like plug into the socket, okay, because the young ones are bringing the frequencies of what the older ones can use, and then with the combination of their learning and experiences on the earth plane, and then the high frequencies of the younger ones, that link is a strong link, okay, and then the 20 and 30-year-old ones, they have to work through their own ego mind conversations first, because even if there is a level of trying to reach that level what the younger ones have, but then the younger ones who are coming, that is natural, that their frequency is natural, so they don't have to work for it. They did not have to work for it. They just agreed that they are bringing that frequency down here on this earth plane, and then that is what they need to do. Okay, that is what, and then they are doing it willingly. Okay, and so the focus is on them, and then those who are coming, who are just about to come down next year or the following year, every year. Actually, that was spoken about before. Okay, so every year the frequency is different. Okay, so who's coming down next year will be different from the ones who's coming in 2 years or 3 years or even 4 years. Time, 4 years later, because the frequency will be different, and then how they are preparing those souls and those frequencies, it is not finalized in that sense. Okay, what frequencies they are going to bring down, but then it is once the like the next year's generation coming down, they settle their frequency, and then how they settle their frequency, the following generations adjustment and frequency will be depending on what has been already raised here. Okay, so in that sense, but then there is that 7-10 year of stretch of generations. Okay, so 10 year of young people. Okay, some of them are already here, some of them are already or getting ready to come here. And now while I'm saying that getting ready to come here, the sensation is also that they are, even if they were given the time that they are coming here, there will be delay with a few of them, because the mission and the learning and the experience they need to bring down to the generations who are already here, they have to wait a little bit. They have to pause with their own arrival here, so that when they arrive, that is truly timed and focused when they need to come. Okay, when they need to arrive. So it's quite fascinating to to sense all these different generations. I really feel that there will be more conversations. They want to give us more conversation about how the generations shift, and then how they are experiencing themselves as different type of generations, but in fact there is this continuity, and then in whichever generation you are, one is to find a continuity. Okay, there is nothing to be fearful of. There is nothing to anticipate, and there is nothing to expect from that process. It is just how it is, and as we move along, time-wise, as we move along with our time, there will be greater need for more people to experience that the change of frequency, and then the awareness, the level of awareness rising. Now in this meditation, there were other things, and I will bring them back. But right now, these 2 points stayed. These 2 points stayed. And then you see, one can say that yes, it's all the conversation. So what can we do, since we are here on this earth plane, especially within this environment, within this time, what we experience right now. Now, I need to tell you, my experience is that, yes, one can be really, or I can be really drawn into the earthy 3D conversation, and then I immediately feel the impact on my physical body and my emotional body, and in my mental body. So I know that I need to watch how much I am involving myself with that energy, or whether I'm choosing that energy at all, or putting my focus onto that. But then the sensation is that, yes, once we bring ourselves back and then just observe what is happening, and then in fact the whole thing is, it's just like a theater, how things are happening. And in that sense, when we are able to take ourselves back from that scenario, it is just a whole illusion. Life is a whole illusion. So there is that sensation that when we experience a 3D environment, or a conversation or interaction or anything like that, yes, we experience it on the 3D level, but then immediately there is a sense of the different dimension, so you immediately feel that, yes, I'm here, but actually, I'm not here. And then it really made me think whether I am detaching myself, or I am consciously detaching myself from this reality, and then, or my soul is detaching itself from this dense reality, just to be looking, just to look after itself, so that the human, this one or any of you, will not be too upset or drawn into the conversation, the current conversation. But in fact, what I feel is that once we take the mind conversation, or put the mind conversation to the side, and the human body is still there within the 3D environment, and then overhearing or engaging conversation with people who are existing on the 3D level, yes, there is a choice that I can exchange ideas on that level, or I can choose that, or I'm choosing that I'm just observing it, while I know that this is just an illusion, and as an illusion it is there, and actually it's not there, if that makes sense. And then the point of, if it's there or not there, the point of choosing is when I am shifting my awareness, because once I'm shifting my awareness, the whole scenario is like a mist, like illusion, just an illusion, and then it is it, because in that very moment, what happens is that you are switching yourself somewhere to a different dimension, different experience, different reality, and then you are experiencing yourself in that reality, in that reality, within that frequency, within that zone, while you are still existing on the 3 dimension. And then in that sense, it's the experience of the human is being detached. I'm feeling detached. And it's not that I am rude and detaching myself, but then the once I take my experience. Okay, so this is how I can make it simplify it, that once the mind, the ego has that awareness that there is a choice, the mind can take itself to the side, and then once the mind and an ego takes itself to the side, the actual human is experiencing the 3D reality, but not as a participant, but more of an observant. Okay, and once you observe, and then you have that awareness that is actually, yes, it's a reality for those who experience it on the 3D level, but in fact it is a reality. It's an illusion because there is no mind and ego to that. And once I am on that step that the mind and ego has detached itself, while I am on the 3D reality with 3D people and having those kind of conversations, my experience is on a different dimension because then there is this multi-level. So in the very moment, how you can imagine, if you have never experienced this, how you can imagine this, that you watch a film and there is a person who is out in a fast food, whatever it's called, fast food chain, whatever place, eating something, I don't know, like a burger or something, eating and having a conversation with somebody, and the camera is showing this, and then at the same time the camera is showing. So this is maybe black and white. Okay, and then the camera is showing the same person in the very same moment, living in a different reality, and that is colorful. Okay, so it's like a different altogether different vibrations. So it's like multi-layered. Okay, and then the fascinating thing is that, yes, one can say, yes, oh, if you do certain things and then you can reach that level, you absolutely don't have to do anything. You just have to be strict with your meditation and stick to your meditation. And how do we say it? Yes, I trust, I allow, and then surrender. And this is what is available. If your soul needs to experience this, then your soul will experience it. And then it's possible for everybody to experience it while you are here on this earth plane. And why it's just so amazing, that's why I go back to where I started at the beginning, because we live in a time, oh my goodness, we live in a time when we are shifting ourselves, when we are shifting, raising ourselves, raising our vibrations, raising ourselves a little bit higher, actually much higher than just a 3D reality. Okay, so powerful stuff, people. Very powerful stuff. So it made me think, yes, still, what can we do on the 3D reality, in this reality, since we experience ourselves, since we have to drive our cars, since we have to go to the shop, we have to wear certain things. Like right now, December 2020, if you ever listen to this recording 20 years time, we have to wear masks on our face and we have to distance ourselves from other people, and then people are scared of each other. It doesn't matter if you are an adult or a child, you are scared and you are programmed. After a certain time, even if you have the awareness, the program starts kicking in if you are not aware. So it really made me think, yes, what can we do? So even in myself, I'm watching my own reactions. I'm observing the reaction of this person when it is in a 3-dimensional reality. Whether it is whether the person is scared or not scared. And in brackets I mention, or I say, that's my personal conversation, so I'm not going to add this to this conversation here. But I'm just generally saying, okay, a 3D person like this one, scared or not scared, and then while it's in a conversation or a situation with another 3D person, whether we are observing the other person being scared or frightened or any of those. So our reaction, our behavior would be just a reaction to what we perceive the other person is experiencing. So this on that level, there and back. But if you say that, yes, the 3rd-dimensional person is able to experience the same reality on a higher frequency, then I say, yes, I'm dropping my ego and mind on the side, okay, which you work on your meditation. And then when you are in a situation, then you are already able to drop yourself into your heart. So I am experiencing myself from my heart center. So when I'm encountering another person who is frightened, scared, because lives in experiences itself in the 3D reality, then I'm coming from my heart, and it means that I'm already grounded. So my reaction is not going to be, or my experience is not going to be, or it's not going to be a reaction to what the other person is experiencing or believing it's experiencing. It's getting a bit complicated, but otherwise it's ultra super simple. But then once I'm in my heart center and I'm grounded, then I am just observing what is happening. So I can observe anything without being wobbly about anything, because I am in my heart center and I'm grounded. And then I have raised my frequency up to the level that I know that I know the difference between this and this and this and that level. And then when I'm in the situation, I'm in my heart center, and that's the invitation for everybody here. Through meditation, you practice your mind, and then your ego going to the side. You put yourself into you drop yourself into your heart center. You remember how you ground yourself, how much you are your presence, how you are breathing. Nothing and nobody can push you out of your presence. That point. The experience is that imagine a silver line coming from the above and going through your body, going down. And then going underneath Mother Earth, recycling what you don't need, but then you've got that silver line. I just got this one earlier, this picture. Although I'm not using any such things when I'm talking about meditation, but then just to make more plausible, maybe it's more, it's easier to understand or easier to feel. But then you are bringing yourself back to the present moment, and then you are just observing. And while you are observing, my battery goes. While you are observing, just a second, guys. Okay. So while you are observing yourself, you are not responding or reacting. It's not happening on this level, 3D there and 3D back. But then you are just observing yourself. And then when you are in your heart center, you are generating love, and you are experiencing love, and then you are sharing the love. So even if you can't speak to each other, even if you have to keep the distance, and then even if we have to hide our faces, and we can't express the joy, the happiness, and the gratitude through our expression or human contact or any of that. But then you have the frequency already in your heart, and that is a very high frequency. And then from that, you respond to the other person, regardless, or you react. We are not reacting. You respond. You are actually not respond. You are just be. You are just being from the heart space. You are just being that frequency, and that, because it's a very high frequency, is resonating out to the person 2 meters away from you, hidden behind wherever the person has to behind, and going out that frequency. And then that is the thing, because once you are in your heart, there is no need of doing or trying to do anything. That's the job of the mind and the ego, which you have already put aside. But once you are in your mind, once you are in your heart, that frequency is just generating itself. You don't have to do anything, And then, in fact, the sensation is that your physical body is as if it is dissolving, it's dense, but then once you are coming from your heart, which is high frequency, very high frequency, then the physical body is just containing that frequency, containing the human, which knows itself by its ego and its mind put on the side. And that's why the sensation is when you are really coming from your heart, when you feel compassion, when you feel grace, then you might have experienced that your physical body is dissolving, So it's not really important that your physical body is there and then you are experiencing yourself within the physical body, because what is really important is the high frequency from your heart center. And then this is how we can help each other when we interact with people, you are on the resonating on the 3D. Okay. So it's not that I have to say something, or I have to teach them, or I have to talk, or I have to show them something, because it's coming from the mind. I've got an idea what I need to give to them so that they are raising their frequencies. Um, what I'm finding is through conversations with people and certain situations that it is much more profound when the mind and the ego puts itself to the side. There is no need for me to tell people what they can do to help themselves or how to do things, or why don't they do this, or why do they do this, or any of those conversations. But then you drop yourself into your heart, and then just being, actually you don't have to do anything, because once you are there, that frequency is experiencing itself, and that's the joyful and profound experience. It's not just a place to be, because we we talk about it as if it is there at one place, but in fact that's a frequency, and then once you are working at it, and you accept that it is there, and then you experience yourself from that space, then nothing else is really important, or what the physical body is doing, or any of that. And then the value is in the presence, and when the frequency is increased or raised, then that is the healing impact it has on the people over there, because it's like it's the frequency spreading itself out. So that is what we can, I feel, take on to start mastering if you haven't done it, or continue mastering if you have started. Or if you are really doing, then start talking about it and share your experiences with other people, and that is the meaning. Because when people of the same frequencies they meet, they gather together. That is how the whole the frequency on the big scale is increasing itself. It's raising itself, raising it up, and then once it generates itself, then that's the point of the knowledge, the knowledge. Doesn't matter what we label it, knowledge or light or healing is being given, okay, being given. And then now as we are finishing December, yes, we've been talking about. They've been talking to me about like 2 or 3 years that things are getting really, really, really urgent and fast, So even if you haven't been, or if you haven't been clued really into awareness conversations, but then you might have felt a few years ago it started, how the frequency started. It's getting a bit faster. Life is getting a bit faster. But then how we are finishing December, this is how it is going to be. And oh my goodness me, January onwards, get ready, get ready. Any of these. So this is what there are themes you see if you have been listening to the other conversations. There have been themes, and they are giving the threads. They are continuing on the threads, and then that's why it's so beautiful, because those of us who are working with lights, a lot of us, if you are on this page listening to any of this, you are already clued in. You already have the awareness or the willingness to experience, not learn from this person or that person. No, because it's not learning, it's experiencing. The whole thing is that everybody needs to experience what they need to experience. People can just give ideas or show the path, give guidelines, and then after that, once you get to that point that you take what you need, otherwise you go within and then you experience what you need to experience, because that's your master. You are your own master. And then that is, we are at the age, we are at the stage, we are at the age that we need to be our own masters. We need to be, oh my goodness, we need to be that point. We need to be, it's just so urgent, so important and so urgent. I hope it makes sense. And that's the most wonderful, wondrous, most wonderful thing in our current life, what we can experience, and then what we can be grateful that actually we are here to experience it. You know, the conversation could not have taken place 200 years ago, you know. So if you are around, like I was around in the Victorian times, if I understand my life like that, or the medieval times, or maybe when I was a druid or something, the conversation was not like that. They had different conversations. But you see, now this is the conversation. That's why we are here, to have these conversations. So here we go. So you lovely people out there, enjoy the rest of your day, labeled the 21st of December 2020. And just remember how gorgeous and how valuable you are, and how much love and how much sparkle and how much light you have within yourself, and how important it is that you live into it. You start living into it, and then if you started living into it, but then you can still live even more into it, then that is your mission, to be that way. Okay, to be that way. So enjoy it. So thank you very much for being here. I'm going to bring this conversation to a close. If you feel that you heard something for yourself, I'm very grateful for that. If you feel that it did not resonate, that's absolutely fine. Maybe another time, if you come back and then you listen to it again, you might hear something, or you hear things differently, like it happens to all of us, really. And then if you feel it's interesting or useful or something, please feel free to share or invite other people. Now, as I always say, I always share these conversations onto different, or put out onto different platforms. So you are welcome to find and listen to these things. Yes, I would say yes. Find if anybody would like to make any comment, you feel free to comment. And then again, just being mindful how much personal information we give out about ourselves, depending on what channel you are listening to this conversation. Feel free to sign up for the newsletter, what we are producing at www.zsuzsannamedium.com. And yes, thank you very much for being here. The person, energy, shared it with love and respect to all of us. And have a gorgeous evening and a week, and speak very, very soon. Thank you and bless you. Bye for now. Bye. Bye-bye.